My name is Jordan Odel, and I'm gay. My whole life, I was raised in a strict Mormon household. Went to church every Sunday, did Bible study every morning, and I've always had a strong belief in my faith and in my religion. But from the time I was 7, I always had crushes on girls. And of course, at 7 years old, you never think that it's weird, or you're different that you have a crush on a girl. I never really thought twice about it until middle school when I was going through puberty and realized I still had crushes on all my best friends that were girls pretty much. I always tried to put it in the back of my mind just because my whole life, especially in a strict Christian religious household, it was marriages between a man and a woman. So I guess I felt the need to just suppress and to try and think about guys and try and have crushes on guys. Really just put any thoughts I had about girls away. I felt like a walking sin. A lot of it came from my own family, my own home, that made me feel this way. I would hear my mom or other family members talking about how gays are disgusting. Basically, they're not loved or accepted in the eyes of God. And that was scary for me because the one God, the one person that I always had what I felt was a strong connection with, I'm now being told doesn't love me. I'm now hearing from my parents backhandedly that they won't love me. I didn't know how to respond to that, so I had a lot of hate for myself. I guess it wasn't until I started to turn to God more and to ask Him questions and if He still loved me. And in times that when I heard my parents over talking about how they felt about gays, the only time I could feel comforted was when I prayed to God. I felt His warmth and I felt His acceptance and I felt His love and His understanding and His praise. So for me, the people I loved most in my life were giving me hate, but really the most important person in my life was saying, I'm here to love you and accept you. I think for me, what really helped me to learn and to grow spiritually and with God more so was doing my own scripture study, doing my own personal prayer, taking everything that I have learned my whole life that I've been taught and just kind of putting it aside for the sec, really reflecting on the scriptures and prayer, finding out for myself what's true and what's not true and not from what had been ingrained into me my whole life. I know my relationship with my mom when I first came out, it was very awkward. It was very kind of distant, and I know she's had a similar coming together understanding of God better because she's started reading her scriptures more in depthly and praying in depthly and finding out for herself what is true and what's not true. I know our relationship has grown a lot more and become a lot more positive. Not to say that she necessarily agrees, maybe even with my lifestyle, but she has a more accepting and true love for me and for my path and is a lot more Christ-like and loving than the mom I had 2 years ago. For those of you who have been raised in maybe a Christian household or a strict, just religious household in general, if I could give you one message, it would probably be to not to turn away from God. Put your faith and trust in them, whether you're scared to come out, scared that your family won't accept you. I would just advise that you turn to Him for your questions, for comfort, and for love. And if you ever have doubts, He will always love you. I have a younger friend. 2 years ago, she told me she started to have feelings for girls. I told her that was awesome. Tell me more. She started to feel comfortable talking with me about it. It was just a feeling she had. And then about 2 years later, she reached out to me again, told me that she was coming out to her parents. She had a lot of the same struggles that I had with, my parents loved me, but they didn't know how to handle it. So I've been telling her and trying to inspire her to reach out to God and to try and talk to Him and get comfort from Him and have that relationship with Him that I had, because before I came out, when I was having these feelings, it was this internal battle. God was the one person I could turn to. I didn't have anyone else. I know she has me, but I know how God helped me and I know how He could help her, comfort her, love her in those times when her parents are hard on her or she's unsure that she's deserving of love, like I felt sometimes, that she has God to turn to. The way that she's kind of reacted to all this is she's turned away from God I just want her to know that you can separate the two. God is not religion. God is God. He's gonna love you and comfort you and support you no matter what situation you're in. I just advise that you try and turn to Him when you're having those doubts and feelings of being unloved.